work of art in the Age of
Metaverse Reproduction.
Essay 2. In principle, the work of art has always been reproducible. Objects made by humans could always be copied by humans. Replicas were made by pupils in practicing for their craft, by masters in disseminating their works, and finally, by third parties in pursuit of profit. But the
Digital
reproduction of artworks is something new. Having appeared intermittently in history,
since the end of the 20th century.
it is now being adopted with ever-increasing intensity. Graphic art was first made technologically reproducible by the woodcut, long before written language became reproducible by movable type. The enormous changes brought about in literature by movable type, the technological reproduction of writing, are well known. But they are only a special case, though an important one, of the phenomenon considered here from the perspective of world history. In the course of the Middle Ages, the woodcut was supplemented by engraving and etching, and at the beginning of the 19th century by lithography.
And at the end of the 20th on digital screens. Digital imaging
Marked a fundamentally new stage in the technology of reproduction. This much more
direct-to-consumer
process, distinguished by the fact that the
artwork is a collection of pixels, rather than a physical revisioning on a material substrate, makes immediate access to a global audience simpler, more streamlined, and far more adaptable in its absorption of short-term disruptions. The digital medium brings graphic art to daily interactions across a plethora of platforms, accessed daily. It has outstripped the slower pace of physically printed material. In barely a few decades, the digital medium has evolved and is changing constantly. Digital imaging allows greater freedom of expression than traditional art techniques allow, tasks that now devolved upon the imagination alone. Even the generation of digital images is becoming more automated and intuitive, pushing the boundaries of the artist's own creativity. Algorithmic image editing processes have been embedded in digital image editing tools for some time, so their transition to frontline creative tools was inevitable. These algorithms have existed in experimental form for over 50 years, but generative adversarial networks became mainstream tools in 2021. And now, the third decade of the 21st century is rapidly becoming the dawn of generative artificial intelligence digital imaging, computers not only modifying but also authoring imagery, thereby
captured a place of its own among the artistic processes. Engaging this standard, we would do well to study the impact which its two different manifestations,
the digital reproduction, exhibition, and consumption of artworks, as well as the non-human creation of digital imagery,
are having on art in its traditional form.